Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Let's check out what we're dealing with today. Today's the 27th right here. 27th of February. And this year's just moving along, isn't it? So we have sun sign, Pisces, water sign. Water's emotions, loves. Water, if we think of how water moves, water can flow like a river, or it can be a pool. When water becomes a pool, sometimes it can become stagnant. So that's one of the things that's we need to be aware of. So same as with our emotions or our feelings or our love, we can't allow it to become stagnant. It keeps flowing, and so we think about water, and then we have right here a moon sign of Aquarius, just like yesterday, or what we transitioned into yesterday. And Aquarius is an air sign, words and actions. So we have these Aquarian ideals that are bubbling below the surface, wanting to express themselves through the things you say and the things you do. And as they bubble to the surface, they're meeting the Pisces feelings and the emotions, which the Pisces, remember, the fish swimming in two different directions. So you got a lot of emotions pulling the fish one way or the other. The idea is not to allow oneself to get pulled back and forth, but to be able to find balance, to be able to calm those emotions so we're not being at the whim of every single thing that goes by and makes us feel something. And then we look at here this aspect tonight, just shortly after 10 o'clock on the West Coast time. We have a square, which is a lesson between the moon sign Aquarius and Saturn, which is discipline. So this Aquarian ideals, the things we want to say and do, as Saturn comes in there, when Saturn disciplines that, it kind of focuses it a little bit more. So later this evening, we might find more focus in what it is we want to say, how we want to do things, those ideas that we have in our mind. Okay, so that's something that's going on. Certainly one thing to be aware of, and that we're all glad for, is Mercury retrograde is coming to an end. Today is the last day of that. Tomorrow it will go back direct. So perhaps we can kind of tie in this idea here of this discipline, because through Mercury retrograde there's challenges that go on with the areas of communication due to the planets that are involved that are communication planets. And so when we get to that Mercury retrograde phase, we come to a point where we start getting a little more clarity on what it is we want to say and do. And this is like a point where we're really disciplining ourselves, where we come down and we find out, okay, what is it we need to throw out? What is it we need to keep? And kind of reorganize those thoughts and stuff. So that's a good thing. Good thing. Okay? Now the numerology for today is the number 9. Here's how we arrived at the number 9. We've got 2 plus 27 plus 2014. So we know the February 27th is 2 plus 2 plus 7 equals an 11. And the 7 is the 2014. So when we add up the 11 and the 7, which is an 18, 1 plus 8 equals 9. And that's how we arrive at our numerology. So today would be a 9-tone day. A 9-tone day, this is the card that represents 9. 9, the Hermit, is the last of the single numbers. You can see the Hermit holds the lantern high for others to see. The color is gray, representing the neutrality of the Hermit. because the hermit has gone into solitude, not in order to get away from people for the sake of just being away, but to go to find what is necessary and then bring that wisdom back. And that's what the hermit's doing. He's brought the wisdom back, represented by the lantern here. And in bringing that wisdom back, it allows the hermit, the teacher, to be able to hold that lantern high for others to see. So what this reminds us is we're all teachers. We all have the ability to teach. We all learn something and then share it on and pass it on with others. And there's a responsibility in that, okay? So that's what we're dealing with today. Now, let's look over here at this chart. It shows us some of the positive characteristics of 9. They're helpful, compassionate, aristocratic, sophisticated, charitable, generous, humanitarian, romantic, cooperative, creative, self-sufficient, proud, self-sacrificing. But 9s can be egocentric, arrogant, self-pitying, sentimental, discontent, fickle, cold, or mentally unstable. Hermit, as I told you, and the planet dealing with it is Virgo. Okay, so we are dealing with the ideas of healing, of teaching, of helping. So we want to really accentuate those qualities out in the world, because we could certainly use some good teaching and some good healing and all this stuff. All right, but we need to teach each other, and that's the important part. Now we look at the sky tonight. Over here, 27th right here, this is what we're going to see. We got the moon, a little sliver here yet, and then we got Mercury just to the bottom left of it. Sirius shines at the highest in the south by 8 or 9 p.m. Binoculars to look for the dim area, open cluster M41, straight below by 4 degrees. That's a little less than the width of the typical binocular field of view. Okay, so that's what we're looking here, and then we're going to look up. I believe this is Sirius, or maybe way up here. Alright, that's what we're looking at tonight. Now, our moon phase, as you saw, is just a small little sliver. Small sliver, 4%, so we're going to hit that new moon tomorrow. The Mayan Oracle, we're at a 3-tone day, electric tones of activation or service. Again, you see the idea of service here. Kind of fits in line with the idea of the hermit, of serving, sharing the wisdom, teaching, healing. Kin for today is the sun, which is about enlightenment. So we have the activation or the service of enlightenment guided by seed, our ability to plant new ideas. Like-minded energy is the storm, gathering that energy. Challenge for today is our ability to love, loyalty, and then our hidden power is birth. The dragon is all about birth. And we are on the 3rd day of the wave spell of the mirror. So our theme for these 13 days is looking at the idea of the endless reflection of life, realizing that the things we see out in the world are reflections of who and what we are to some degree or another. And as we understand that, we learn to have compassion, we learn to have love, we learn to have a different respective way of looking at these reflections, because we understand that those reflections are part of who we are. And if we can understand those, we understand more of ourselves, and in essence, we understand more of the world. The phrase for today is, I activate in order to enlighten bonding life. I seal the matrix of universal fire with the electric tone of service. I am guided by the power of flowering. And we jump down here to look and see. Today we are at the end of this column here. This is the 6th column. So there's 6 columns here, and these first 6 columns reflect these last 6 columns. Right in the middle, this pillar here is the, I like to call it the void, or the central space where you go into, everything revolves around it. Okay? If you think of in just a simplistic way, think of like a merry-go-round. And all of these first and these 6 represent the animals and the going round and round. But right in the middle of that merry-go-round, there's that center place where you see the carnies go in every now and then, right? People working on it. Well, that's what this is. That's that middle place, right in the middle. Everything's revolving around it. Okay? So that's where we're heading to starting tomorrow. But today we're at the very end of this column. That's where we are right now. And over at space weather, our solar wind is 354.1 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is quiet at the moment. We've got these coronal holes here, which will be sending solar wind our direction. So we'll find out if we're going to get actually hit by it or not. Depends on, there's a lot of different circumstances. Just because the sun is facing our way doesn't mean we're going to feel everything that comes off of it. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. A lot of things involved. So we'll see how that works out. M-class flare possibility is up 10% over yesterday, which was 60, and X-class is up a little bit. So those possibilities are increasing, and our geomagnetic storm activity, we've jumped up quite a bit. 20% increase here in the higher latitudes, and a bit of increase in the lower latitudes as well. Okay. So that's what's going on there. And that's it. That is it for what's going on there today. It's out here in Southern California. It's bright and sunny right now. It was raining all night. Some much needed rain. So I'm thinking we're going to be getting more of that. And there you go. That's what we're dealing with today. The energies of today. Make of it what you will. UFO News is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. Bunch of stories today. First one right here. Awesome saucer UFO near Seattle, near Seatec Airport in Seattle. This is new interesting video footage of a saucer UFO recorded in the sky above Seatec Airport on the 20th of February. It says, I've been recording time-lapse for 5 years with many on file. A week after filming a UFO over my house, I filmed a beautiful sunset with my house pointed at the same patch of sky that the UFO flew over. As I watched and edited the sunset video, I saw a number of planes per usual. After one low elevation plane, there was a small circular object at a higher altitude, much higher than the planes taking off from Seatec would fly. I zoomed in on as best as I could and will attempt to film it again. This was filmed last Thursday, so there you go. There you see it. Or maybe they're just flying overhead because they're Seattle Seahawks fans. I don't know. But there they are. All right. First sighting. Next, we go over to Jacksonville, Florida. This comes to us from UFOsightingsdaily.com. And for all of these shows and stories I tell, we have the links right in the website, both in the blogs, the daily stories, and on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see the links for the UFO news. So you can go right to the sources here. UFO Sightings Daily, this is Scott C. Waring. A lot of great information here. Reports of UFOs in Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, there's our object in question. Okay, there's our Mountain Dew man right there. This brave young man came out and told the world about his UFO sighting, and instead he gets bullied by the press trying to explain it as something else. He has video. He sees these UFO every day so often and finally decided to report it. And they put a clip from the E.T. movie in the news. Then they put a UFO skeptic who is the only professor at the university who has never had an experience with UFO research. That's just wrong. Bravo to Darren, and we stand by him 110%. It's brave men and women like him that will awaken the world. Goes on to say reports of moving lights in the sky are being recorded through the first coast. What could it be? Darren Goffin likes to stargaze, but for the past few months he says he's seeing more than just stars. Well, the first sighting was a lot of movement, and it just sparkles around, says Goffin. Goffin decided to record the unidentified flying object. His video shows two bright objects, one flashing, and it just stops, while the other is very bright object continues to move. I haven't really told too many people, thinking I'm crazy, Everyone's got their own belief, and if you say, oh, I've seen a UFO, they'll laugh at you and they'll make fun of you. According to the National UFO Reporting Center, 23 sightings have been reported on the first coast in the last 6 months. Let's check out and listen to what he has to say here.
Darren Goffin likes to stargaze, but for the past few months he says he's seeing more than just stars.
The first sighting, it was a lot of movement and just sparkles around it.
Goffin decided to record the unidentified flying object. You can see from his video there are two bright objects. One is flashing and then it just stops. The other continues to move.
Okay, here's the object that he was seeing. And I'm just going to leave the video link for you to check out because, you know, it starts to get into this other goofy stuff they try to use to discredit people. And, you know, that's all kind of silly. So, all kind of silly if you ask me. Alright, let's move on from here. But good for him for bringing this out. And it's too bad you got professors and people at universities that still don't understand. But, you know, then again, there's all kind of people in the world, right? All kind of people in the world that just don't quite get the, they don't get the memos of what's going on. Alright, multiple lights recorded above Longwood, Florida. This is new video footage. Bright UFO lights recorded in the night sky above Longwood. Witness said 4 glowing objects above Longwood. Crossing Viva Springs Road, witnessed while driving at 11 p.m. on February 25th. They appeared to travel together and gaining altitude, forming a square. At first appeared at large, glowing 4 balloons. After approximately 3 minutes traveling together, objects appeared similar, as if gaining altitude back into space. I used a video editor to cut the sound. My son was too excited. Alright, so let me back up again there. And let's just relook at this. See our objects in question. There you go. You got 4 nice ones right there in the middle of the screen. Okay, good sighting. Moving on from there, this is diamond-shaped UFO seen and filmed over Iztapalapa. And it says interesting footage of a diamond-shaped object hovering above Iztapalapa, one of the federal districts of Mexico's 16 boroughs, located on the east side of the entity. This was recorded on Sunday the 23rd. So we get a lot of sightings coming from Mexico. And yet another one that's out there. Okay, moving on to the next one. Next we have UFO hovers over palm trees in the Morocco desert. I was riding in a desert somewhere in Morocco. I was filming the ride and the quads passing by. When in the hotel, I watched the video on my PC and my brother discovered this strange object flying above the palm trees. Okay, so it's 1 minute and 13 seconds for this video. And as they're going here, there's their object in question. See, that's a pretty good size object. Not a plane, just kind of chilling out there, watching what's going on. Okay, you see it up there? Stop, there it is, right there. Okay. It's a pretty good capture. Alright, next. UFO photos in the latest release of Snowden documents. The latest release of Edward Snowden's leaked NSA documents includes a PowerPoint from a British communications department regarding online covert operations and deception. A few of the slides inexplicably include pictures of UFOs. The documents were released by the INTERCEPT, the website created to report on NSA documents provided by Snowden. The presentation with UFO pictures were created by the British Government Communications Headquarters. It goes by the initials GCHQ. It is titled The Art of Deception, Training the New Generation for Online Covert Operations. The INTERCEPT article, which includes the release of documents, describes their significance. Over the last several weeks, I worked with NBC News to publish a series of articles about the dirty trick tactics used by GCHQ's previously secret unit, JTRIG, which is Joint Threat Research Intelligence Group. These were based on 4 classified GCHQ documents presented to the NSA and other 3 partners in the English-speaking Five Eyes Alliance. Today, we are at the INTERCEPT, are publishing another new JTRIG document in full, entitled The Art of Deception, Training for Online Covert Operations. You can see we have a long article here, but out of this it says by publishing these 3 stories one by one, our NBC reporting highlighted some of the key discrete revelations: the monitoring of YouTube and Blogger, the targeting of Anonymous with the very same DDoS attacks that they accuse hacktivists of using, the use of honey traps, which is luring people into compromising situations using sex, and destructive viruses. But here, I want to focus and elaborate on the overachieving point revealed by all of these documents, namely that these agencies are attempting to control, infiltrate, manipulate, and warp online discourse, and in doing so are compromising the integrity of the internet itself. Among the core self-identified purposes of JT Rig are 2 tactics: one, to inflict all sorts of false material into internet in order to destroy the reputation of its targets, and 2, to use social sciences and other techniques to manipulate online discourse and activism to generate outcomes it considers desirable. To see how extremist these programs are, just consider the tactic they boast of using to achieve these ends: false flag operations, which means posting material on the internet and falsely attributing it to someone else; fake victim blog posts, pretending to be a victim of the individual whose reputation they want to destroy, and posting negative information. So that in mind, here it says the UFO pics are on slides 35 and 37, a section called Influence and Information Operations. It's difficult to decipher why they are there, except perhaps to discuss online memes or misidentifications. The Daily Grail speculates that the images may be there for reasons, from pointing out people's belief systems through to them possibly being part of an actual psychological operations. The pictures include a UFO photograph from Redbud, Illinois, taken in 1950, a screenshot of UFO video captured by Arturo Robles Gil in Mexico, and a picture of an alleged UFO that is suspected to simply be a bird and its droppings. Alright, so these are the pictures that were released. And if these are a bird and its droppings, well, that's a pretty freaking big bird. Okay, so perhaps now that the document is online, someone will come forward with an idea as to why the UFO pictures are included in the presentation. Very interesting indeed that they show up in this information here. Okay, now we're going to go over here to UFO Digest. Indian Air Force scrambled jets to intercept UFO. Indian Air Force scrambled a Su-30 after its radars detected a slow-moving, unidentified flying object going towards Pakistan near Amstar border, and in the process it came too close to civilian flights operating in the area. The IAF is also looking into the incident where its AN-32 transport aircraft was about to land at a close runway at the Delhi airport earlier this week. Last week, our raiders picked up a UFO near Amstar, which was moving slowly towards the international border with Pakistan, and an Su-30 MKI was scrambled from Halara Air Base to intercept, IAF sources and said. The aircraft was being launched. The air traffic was being cleared at heights of 25,000 and 30,000 feet, as the UFO was flying at 28,000 feet, they said. Later on, they said it was just a weather balloon. Nothing to see here, folks. Keep moving along. Just a weather balloon. Just a weather balloon. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. California witnesses, about 13 miles apart, both reported military helicopters that appeared to be chasing sphere-shaped UFOs in the early evening of February 19th. According to a MUFON database testimony, the couple in Anaheim, California, driving near Dale and Orangewood at about 7:45 p.m. on the 19th, first heard a low-flying helicopter and noticed it northeast of their location. It looked as if it was chasing another helicopter at first, but the other craft did not have flashing red and white lights. Then I noticed the second object was not a helicopter. The helicopter shined its searchlight on the craft and hovered for a moment. It appeared to be a metallic sphere. Then the object appeared to change shape. With the searchlight still on the craft, we could see that it changed shape into a disc and sped off at an eastward direction, with the helicopter chasing after it. We tried to speed up and see where both helicopter and the craft went, but they both sped off too fast. 3 minutes later, and about 13 miles to the east of this location in Anamine Hills, a second witness reported first hearing 2 loud helicopters flying low at great speed. When my eyes got focused, and I noticed a star-sized ball of light. The light was small but super bright, brighter than Venus or the brightest star in the sky. It was in front of the choppers, also moving quickly. The orb then disappeared for 2 to 3 seconds, then reappeared, having gained significant distance, further separating itself from the helicopters that were previously worried about this thing and were at max speed chasing it. There were plenty of other witnesses at the event at the location. At least a dozen other people witnessed the same event. I did not know what this thing was, but I know what it wasn't. It wasn't a star, plane, chopper, the moon, laser light, a planet, or any natural light or natural phenomenon. It was a bone-chilling experience that I will never forget. Okay. One last piece. This is just to kind of give you a little heads up. There's a new series you may have heard about. It's called Hangar 1. Starts tonight. Okay, I'm not going to play any of this because I'm just going to leave that for you. But it says, announcing the MUFON-based TV series on the History Channel, H2 Network, entitled Hangar 1, The UFO Files. Premiering February 28th, 2014. The series features interviews with Jan Harzan, John Ventre, and Jeremy Ray of MUFON, and Jason McClellan of Open Minds Radio, along with other experts including Richard Dolan, Grant Cameron, Leslie Keane, Michael Scratt. So that's on tonight, so you might want to check that out. See what that's all about. All right, it'd be interesting to see how they present it, because it's unfortunate that we live in a time where there's so much disinformation and discrediting that's out there. They do it all the time. You know, one of the complaints that you have from like shows like Ancient Aliens is that they do the show, they produce the show, they give it to the network, and the network wants to go ahead and they want to change things. And then people look and they say, well, this is Ancient Aliens guys that are doing this. And it's unfortunate because it makes them look bad when in essence it's the networks that are doing it. Okay, you've heard the stories about all of the online discrediting that they're trying to do, the agencies that are out there that are actually putting disinformation. I mean, think how ridiculous that is. To throw disinformation into a system that's working good, it's really not somebody who's trying to advance society. It's trying to keep things down for some reason, based on fear. And we have a lot of fear coming from government agencies around the world, don't we? Always ready to start wars and fight with each other, always afraid. And they look up in the sky and they see something that they can't understand, and then they get fearful. And then, boy, when these things come down and turn off their nuclear power, boy, do they really get scared. Oh my gosh, they're turning off our nuclear power. What are they doing? Well, they're trying to keep silly humans from blowing each other up, is what they're doing. So, you know, the militaries make it sound like it's a threat to them, but it's not a threat to them. It's a benefit to everyone else. So we just need to be aware of the lies and the things that they do to try to fool us. All right, that is our UFO news for today. Let me jump away momentarily, and I'll be back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit.
Underground is where they live. In the bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lies?
All right. What is up with their lies? Why do they feel the need to lie so much out there in this world? Doesn't make sense, does it? Nope, doesn't make sense. I guess it does when you think about it, because those who are lying are usually just trying to get their way because they're afraid. That's it. Fear does horrible things to people. Horrible things. All right. I don't know if you heard yesterday, but NASA made an announcement. 715 new worlds. This was an announcement regarding the Kepler mission. NASA's Kepler mission announced Wednesday discovery of 715 new planets. These newly verified worlds orbit 305 stars, revealing multiple planet systems much like our own solar system. Nearly 95% of these planets are smaller than Neptune, which is almost 4 times the size of Earth. The discovery marks a significant increase in the number of known small-sized planets more akin to Earth than previously identified exoplanets, which are planets outside our solar system. The Kepler team continues to amaze and excite us with their planet hunting results, says John Grunsfield, Associate Administrator for NASA's Science Mission Director in Washington. These new planets and solar systems look somewhat like our own, portends a great future, and when you have James Webb Space Telescope in space to characterize the new worlds. Since the discovery of the first planets outside our solar system roughly 2 decades ago, verification has been a laborious planet-by-planet process. Now, scientists have a statistical technique that can be applied to many planets at once when they are found in systems that harbor more than one planet around the same star. To verify this bounty of planets, a research team co-led by Jack Lissar, planetary scientist at NASA's Ames Research Center in Mottfield, California, analyzed stars with more than one potential planet, all of which were detected in the first years of Kepler's observation. The research team used a technique called verification by multiplicity, which relies in part on the logic of probability. Kepler observes 150,000 stars and has found a few thousand of those have planet candidates. If the candidates are randomly distributed among Kepler's stars, only a handful would have more than one planet candidate. However, Kepler observed hundreds of stars that have multiple planet candidates. Through a careful study of this sample, these 750 new planets were verified. This method can be likened to the behavior we know of lions and lionesses. In our imaginary savannah, the lions are the Kepler stars and the lionesses are the planet candidates. The lionesses would sometimes be observed grouped together, whereas lions tend to roam out on their own. If you see 2 lions, it could be a lion and a lioness, or it could be 2 lions. But if more than 2 large felines are gathered, then it is very likely to be a lion and his pride. Thus, through multiplicity, the lioness can be reliably identified in much the same way multiple planet candidates can be found in the same star. 4 years ago, Kepler began a string of announcements of first hundreds, then thousands of planet candidates, but they were only candidate worlds, said Lissor. We now developed the process to verify multiple planet candidates in bulk to deliver planets wholesale, and have used it to unveil a verifiable bonanza of new worlds. More to the article. I'm going to leave you bring it. Well, it says here, latest discovery brings the confirmed count of planets outside our solar system to nearly 1,700. Okay, and these are planets that they feel that are in the habitable zone. All right, so very interesting. That's what's going on out in space. More planets, more discoveries, because there's a lot out there. You know, many of you, you're not from here, right? I know that many of you, if you go in, some of you know that you're not from Earth. Some of you sense and kind of have a feeling that you're not from Earth. And some of you aren't quite so sure, but if you take the time to really go in and explore what's going on inside you, you'll find out that you understand. That's why you're so interested in these subjects. It's not a brand new thing. It's something that is part of life, and we all intuitively know. We all intuitively know what's going on. So that's that. All right, last week I started to talk about the I-Ching, and I thought I would provide you another link where you can do some more work and mess around with it a little bit. This is called I-Ching Online. Okay, and what you can do here is you can enter a question, and you can just go through the process here. It says you are visiting the online version of the I-Ching, the classic book of changes. Any vital questions you may have, ask here. Ask advice about your health, dietary supplements, whether you need any food supplies, medication, your relation, getting rich, or even how to fix your TV set that is broken. Enter your question in the available text box if you want. You don't need to, but it helps to concentrate on the issue. And then click continue and throw the coins 6 times. Throw coins virtually, the program throws for you, or throw coins by hand and fill in the results yourself. Click read to read the answers. The different aspects of the answers to your question are given in 4 tabs. The cast hexagram explains the situation you are in now, or what has gone before. The changing lines are the lines that move into their opposite. The one of them that applies essentially to your question is pre-selected, but any changing lines can be read about if you click on it. Click the transformed hex describing the future situation after the lines have changed, and if you follow the advice the I-Ching has given. And in the trigram symbols, you can read the interpretation of the 2 trigrams and the cast hexagrams is made of. At the bottom of every tab, there is a button, Read Original Text. Click the button to read the original Richard Wellham translation of that hexagram or the changing line. When you enter the real question, it means you didn't leave the text box empty. At the bottom of the last tab appears a custom search. Press this button to generate a Google custom search for the literal question you typed and be surprised by the results. Alright, and from version 3.0 on, there's a button to save the reading on every tab. Okay, so this is something you can use here. Just a little brief here about the I-Ching. The I-Ching is one of the oldest known documents in the world. The classic of change can be traced back as far as 3,000 years in written form, and the Chinese claim that it was passed down as oral tradition for 2,000 years. Its longevity isn't the only wonder that I-Ching holds claim to. It also possesses the uncanny ability to actually communicate with anyone who chooses to use it. This is no fortune-telling gimmick. In fact, the I-Ching often frustrates attempts to divine the future from its pages. The Oracle is solely concerned with the present, your present. Alright, so check out this link. It's gives you some good information. You can go through, do the I-Ching. You use coins. You can have special I-Ching coins, or you can use like 3 pennies. Then you throw them and you read whether they're heads or tails, and that determines whether the line is a solid line or a broken line. And then you just throw these coins, you make your 6 lines, and then you go through and you look and see what that hexagram represents. Okay, just follow along here. It's pretty easy, and it's kind of fun just to kind of check out and see what's going on with this. Alright, now let's move from here to a different one of the esoteric sciences. Every day you hear me talking something about tarot. Every day I show you a card, something related to something in there. The reason being is that systems of wisdom are organized and connect with each other in many different ways. Okay, so we have systems of wisdom that are out there that we can learn from. There's a system called the Tree of Life. You heard about it, Kaballah. You heard the system of Kaballah that the Jewish community talks about, and they claim that this is their system. Well, they certainly have been caretakers of it, and they certainly have, advanced the study of it, but it is not theirs. It's a universal science. It's a cosmic science. It is actually the science of the many universes. And so we have this science which shows us how energy moves. And the Tree of Life is actually broken down into 4 different levels: the fire, the water, the air, and the earth. Each one is a separate plane. There's 10 spheres, there's 22 paths, and there's, these multiple dimensional levels that we experience. And within that you have the tarot cards, which are represented there because the symbols and the pictures represent the ideas of what each of these paths and lessons are all about. And you have numbers which tie in there, numerology, which is why I tell you the numerology every day. You have astrology, which ties in there, sound, colors. Everything is combined because we need to understand energy. And I know there's a lot of people out there who really think that, oh, these things are bad. These are not things we're supposed to look at. I don't believe that's the case. I believe that these are things we're supposed to understand. And I believe if we go through the Bible, we find plenty of examples where we're told to look to the sky, look to the stars, understand the secret wisdom, understand the deeper aspects of things. And so the more we understand about energy, the better it is. So this Builders of the Adytum is a great source of information for that very reason. Okay? says the Adytum is a Greek word for inner shrine or holy of holies. Like Jesus, who many believe was trained in Kaballah. Many members of the order aspire to build the inner temple, to construct the holy of holies within. People of all faiths are welcome to study the teachings of this order. Boda recognizes Kabbalah as the root of Judaism and Christianity. Its ultimate purpose is to hasten the brotherhood of mankind and to make manifest the truth that love is the only real power in the universe. Okay? And if you go through here, this resources page has on it information. This is the symbol I was talking about, the Tree of Life symbol. I've talked about it before. This is the symbol that really summarizes the energy that we use. Okay? We have 10 circles. Each one of these circles is a classroom. You go into a classroom to learn the lesson. Each one of these classrooms has a particular lesson. First one is the crown. We learn about unity. Wisdom. We learn about the esoteric science and the cosmic nature of the universe. Lessons of understanding. Lessons of mercy, humility. Lessons of energy. Lessons of, passion. Love, right in the center here. Victory, emotions. Our mind, our intellect here. Here we have our foundation, our subconscious, and then finally the physical world, which you could see has the 4 different divisions here, showing that it's made up of the multiple elements: fire, the water, the air, and the earth. And you've got these paths between here. There's 22 of them. These are the major arcana. Each one of the major arcana correlates to one of the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Each one of these represent an aspect of God. And so you go from a classroom to another classroom and you follow a path to learn whatever that lesson is. So here we go from unity to wisdom, and the path before it is the fool. Between it is this card of the fool. The fool is the superconscious energy. So it's told that we go from this unity with this superconscious energy, this innocence, going out into the world to learn. To get to this place of understanding, we go from this unity consciousness to focus everything that we have and our abilities to be able to focus our attention into understanding. And on. You just go through the whole thing and you can really understand how life is working and moving. And what you have here is a middle pillar. The whole objective is to always go to the middle. Not to be out of balance on one side or the other, though we get to that point all the time, but to know that no matter where we are, we always find our way back to the middle pillar. And if we listen to the words of Jesus and Buddha and other enlightened masters, how many times have you heard them talk about walking that middle path, being in balance? It's all right here. And within this, you have 4 different levels. You see 10 spheres here, but each one has a level of fire, water, air, and earth. So even though you see 10, multiply that 4, you have 40 different levels. 40 levels going on here. So there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of understanding. Now out of this comes this phrase. I'm going to tell you this phrase, and then I'm going to move on to the next thing. But this is called the pattern on the trestle board, and this presents what are called truths of the self, relating to all of the wisdom here. So first one, 0. All the power that ever was or will be is here now. 1. I am a center of expression for the primal will to good, which eternally creates and sustains the universe. 2. Through me its unfailing wisdom takes form in thought and word. 3. Filled with understanding of its perfect law, I am guided moment by moment among the path of liberation. 4. From the exhaustless riches of its limitless substance, I draw all things, both spiritual and material. 5. I recognize the manifestation of the undeviating justice in all the circumstances of my life. 6. In all things great and small, I see the beauty of the divine expression. 7. Living from that will, supported by its unfailing wisdom and understanding, mine is the victorious life. 8. I look forward with confidence to the perfect realization of the eternal splendor of the limitless light. 9. In thought and word and deed, I rest my life from day to day upon the sure foundation of eternal being. And 10. The kingdom of spirit is embodied in my flesh. So these are very powerful statements. If you notice, They talk about energy. You can take these 10 numbers, relate them to the number system. You're going to see how everything is connected. Builders of the Adytum is awesome. You can do an online study course here, receiving lessons. I myself have been a member of the Builders of the Adytum for many, many years, and I would highly recommend anybody to go check out their information, check out what they're about, see if you can, tune into their lessons, because you're going to learn a lot. Tremendous amount that they have to offer there. Okay? So that's the Builders of the Adytum. Now, I want to move on here to this article. This is called Spirit, Soul, and Personality. First, we find the monad, spirit, on the monadic plane, which is the second from the top out of 7. It is a solar spark and is found in one of the 7 rays, and reflects the 3 aspects: love, will, love, wisdom, and intelligence of the deity. The soul, solar angel or ego, is the vehicle of the monad. It is in itself a triplicity, as is all in nature, and reflects the 3 aspects of divinity on the mental plane, 5th from the top. The solar angel, who embodies the real man and is the expression of the mental plane, is literally his divine ancestor, the watcher who, through long cycles of incarnation, has poured himself out into sacrifice in order that that man, might be. The personality is the man in incarnation and is in itself a triplicity: the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body. All of the fruits or experiences of the personality get accumulated in the soul, who is the mediator between the monad and personality, or spirit and matter. To achieve alignment with soul, the personality have to fuse the 3 divine aspects, the etheric body, the astral body, and the mental body, into the whole. When he has achieved this, he passes through a process of reorientation, thus reveals himself to the whole of humanity. And later still, on the path of initiation, that whole of which humanity itself is only an expression. The individual begins to serve humanity consciously through the medium of its integrated personality, and he knows himself to be a part of the greater whole. He starts to work with the plan. We can say that the conflict between the soul ray and the personality ray starts, and the war is on between the 2 focus aspects of energy. The control of the soul is the final phase, leading to the death and destruction of the personality. The personality is then completely identified with the soul. When the personality and the soul are integrated, it will evoke the consciousness of the whole. When this is accomplished, group consciousness is added to self-consciousness. This is the second step on the way to God consciousness. On the level of the soul, there is no my soul and your soul. We are one. The personality then releases his path forward and is not alone, but in a group. All right, so I'm going to leave that right there for you to contemplate on that as we continue on. Okay, but you can see, again, the information is all about going within. Going within to be able to tap into our own energy. Everything's about energy. The more we learn how to use this energy, the better off we are. All right. Now, one way, and one thing that's important in looking inside, is to understand that many, many souls on this planet are not here for the first time. Many souls aren't even from here. Many souls are living lives over and over and over again, and as they go through their various lifetimes, they're learning lessons, but then they go into another lifetime, and then you forget what you learned until something opens up in your experience and your consciousness where you're able to take that information in. Because just think how it would be if you went through life and you didn't understand the difference between the 2. Let's say you came into this world, and maybe in the previous lifetime you were a woman, and you come into this lifetime as a man. Well, are there people walking through life in a body of a man that are feeling that they are a woman trapped inside? There's a lot of those. We hear these stories, don't we? Is this perhaps a condition that they are having past life recall, and they're having a difficult time differentiating between what was and what is? It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, but it certainly makes sense. So the more that we can go in and explore who we were, the better we are. This article is called The Benefits of Exploring Past Lives. This is by Michelle Welling. A big part of healing ourselves comes from transmuting karma and healing past life emotional energies. In fact, a huge part of this incarnation is about healing. Most past life energies and karma can be healed through paying attention to situations that manifest themselves in our reality as patterns. We learn and to make choices differently in order to break this pattern, thus break up the energies created by it. Any deep-seated past life issues that are not healed this way can be healed by experiencing the past life memory and transmuting it in this lifetime. Well, there's one method of doing this, QHHT, and you've heard me talk about Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon is one of the best modalities for healing past life energies that have manifested into the physical body through her method of quantum healing hypnosis therapy. This method of past life regression therapy takes the person into a deep somnambulistic state, which allows the person's higher self or other aspects of themselves to come forth and speak to the practitioner. Through bringing forth the past lives that have deep-seated energies, the clients are able to work through them and understand what needs to be addressed in this lifetime. Often it is the big thing that has been holding them back in their progressions. And here you can go and you can find some examples from Dolores Cannon. It says, although QHHT is one of the most respected methods in the industry, others have been successful in bringing up these issues with hypnotherapy and counseling. Often a therapist can see their patterns better than the person having the issues because these issues are so deeply disturbing. And we have some other examples. Dr. Brian Weiss, Dr. Michael Newton and Dr. Brian Weiss, they have a couple of examples and some good books out on the subjects. Talks about the indigo children, children born without a veil. So in experiencing your past lives, you begin to understand this, help you find your purpose. So a lot of positive benefits to going and exploring one's past. You know, there's a saying, those who don't remember the past are doomed to repeat it. Well, and a lot of times people are repeating lessons over and over and over again that they don't need to. All we have to be able to do is tap in and understand. It's not always an easy thing, but as we practice and as we continue to do this and learn from it, the better we're going to be, not only with ourselves but others. Again, it's all about energy, learning the energy of who we are, where we came from, what we're about. Okay? So there's more to the article. Check that out. And I'm going to move on. This article comes from in5d.com. And I'm going to move on here to this next piece. And this is our channeled message for today. This comes to us from Lady Nada and Mother Mary. Here we go.
Lady Nada and Mother Mary.
By Francis Cepeda, February 23, 2014.
You have arrived at a new pinnacle of holding love and compassion and grace within you and without you.
Lady Nada and Mother Mary.
Greetings, beloveds. We Lady Nada and Mother Mary come together today to express our deep love and abidance to all of humanity, and especially those of you who are ready to tune in and hear our deep message of love. Together we join our light signatures to complete a circle of divine love and compassion extended out to all of you. We hold it deep in our hearts and share it willingly and freely with all who wish to accept it and ground it into their very beings and to enhance their hearts with pure divine love and compassion. You are ready to encompass love and compassion as a natural state of your being, dear ones. You are holding it deeper and part and parcel of your very being. We stand before you to mirror it and to enhance it and to validate it so you can, of your own free will and own power, be a source of it for others as well as yourselves. You are beginning to stand strong and are empowered with these elements in your own right, just the same as we hold them. Your courage to step further out of duality and old ways of doing things is to be commended and is honored by all in the spiritual and galactic realms. Your ability to stand strong within these qualities of love and compassion as a natural and inherent part of you is becoming more apparent and feeds the world daily and minute by minute. No longer are you usurped by errant ways to the degree of before, as you followed the path of separation and duality. You are flowering amongst the new fresh growth of your development of your true divine selves, and it is a beautiful sight to see. We feel your strength and we feel your power. You stand tall amongst us and are doing your individual parts to transform the world. It used to be that you often felt that we of the spiritual and galactic realms alone were the ones that had these special qualities of love and compassion, and you were striving to develop them and striving to receive them from us. Now it is becoming so clear to you that these qualities were there within you all along in a very large degree, just dormant in some ways as to the magnitude you felt and showed and revealed and shared them. It is not only your birthright but also your mission to feel entrenched in these qualities as a natural part of your every action and feeling. It is not separately that you call them up. They flow from you naturally like a beautiful stream of water cascading down a gorgeous and glistening and sparkling waterfall to join a larger stream and tributaries, naturally and powerfully flowing out to the sea of humanity. It cannot be stopped, nor would you want to, dear ones. You are resplendent and glowing now in love and compassion as you allow these qualities to absorb every part of you, every cell in your body, filling up your massive space of energy all around you and out to all. It is not separate, but flowing and melding with others. It is solid in its flow, in other words, nothing can stop it, and nothing can diminish the flame of it growing and glowing within your heart center, building to a crescendo of unlimited expansiveness, sharing with others, being a part of others and yet so unique in your apparent stream of light. Through the days ahead, we encourage you to build this center, allowing it to glow and grow more warmly and stronger, connecting to your source point always. As you feed yourselves with light, you become stronger and more resilient and more resistant to influences of doubt and negativity, of returning to old ways and of despair. Hope illuminates within you and grows ever stronger now, dear sweet ones. It cannot be stopped. It is fed by your repeated experience of joyful warmth emanating within and without, as a result of your complete acceptance of the intense new energies blanketing and filling you daily. Accept them. If you feel a resistance or a pain in your heart as if you have pushed up against a wall, breathe more in, and allow the warmth and glow to penetrate the wall of resistance. Then breathe in the fresh new air of possibilities and love that you have allowed yourself to encompass and accept. And so, dear ones, remember we are with you and you can call on us to encourage you to accept and be the glowing golden light of love and compassion and of grace. You are getting a taste of what it is like to be sovereign in your abilities to create and to be love and compassion as your inherent identity, being in touch constantly with your inherent divine self. We share our love freely with you as you share yours freely with yourselves and others. There is no limit to it and it is part and parcel of your true identity now. It is who you are and it is what you do. Bask and bathe in it, dear ones, for you have arrived at a new pinnacle of holding love and compassion and grace within you and without you. Take this truth in stride and live it, dear ones. You are magnificent and resplendent in your capacity to be love and compassion through each moment, throughout all eternity. We bid you farewell for now, but know you can access us constantly through your heart and through the energy and love of this message. We love you dearly and we thank you for your immense contribution to Gaia's and the universe's sweet and powerful evolvement into the higher dimensions. All our love. Mother Mary and Lady Nada.
Alright, very nice message. Nice message again about love, about the great changes before us. Look, there's many crazy things going on in the world. We can all see it. And for those who are paying attention and aren't with wearing blinders, you understand that this can't keep going on. The corruptions can't keep going on because we're going to hit a tipping point. Now we've got the drums of war are beaten again, and it's nonsense. It's the same old loop over and over. We can't keep doing this. So we can change it. And I believe that we are to participate in this process of change by sending love and light into the mix. And the more of us that send love and light into the mix, the more that we can change things. And that's why these meditations are so important. That's why I do them at the end of every show. Because, we want to collectively come together to make a change. That way we don't find ourselves and put ourselves in the place of we're a victim. We can't do anything about it. Nonsense. We can do lots of things about it. We can send out love. We can instill the world with light. We can put these positive energies that we're told exist, that we know exist, into the world and just make the world a better place that way. Because if we look at the other side of the fence, the governments of the world, the media outlets, the bankers, there's so many situations that are putting out negative vibes, bad messages that good conquers over that. All we have to do is put out good to conquer over that. Just because there are those who have watched a little bit too much Simon Bar Sinister and are trying to be like Snidely Whiplash, just because they're out there doesn't mean they're going to succeed. Just means they're going to try, that's all. So let's use this meditation as we do. Just keep sending love into the world to make a positive change towards all that is taking place. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath, and exhale again. Now contemplate the words of this affirmation from Agape. All the good of God is always mine to receive. Joyfully I discover, uncover, and reveal my spiritual gifts. Today I extend my field of gratitude and expand my awareness of God. Opinion-free living and divine right seeing are mine today. I am healed and whole in every area of my life. Gracefully I live these words of truth, and so it is. Amen. And further yet, contemplate these words. I am free of anxiety and continue to do so. I am free of anxiety and continue to do so. And allow these positive words to reverberate through your consciousness, through your unconsciousness. And think about all of the love that exists in the world around you. Imagine yourself looking back at the world and see the world and see it from a further perspective. And as you see the world, you see pockets of light. And you realize that they are out there, the love and the light. And you also see pockets of darkness. And you realize that they exist out there as well. And that as we look at these things, we realize that we can find whatever it is we're looking for simply by seeking. And as we understand the darkness that exists, and the negativity and the doubts and the fears that hold it in place, we realize that we can make a change. So let's imagine all of these areas where there is darkness. And let's imagine sending love and light into that dark. And as we send light into the darkness dissipates, for it cannot hold its form in the light. Imagine the doubts and the fears dissipating and just seeing them floating off of the planet, energy being released, and as it's released, we send love to it so that love and that energy goes back and is transmuted back into the universe. Let's think of all the people around the world, and even though we don't know them all and see them all, let's just imagine sending love to each and every individual, so that those going through challenges today are able to find some contentment and peace in their hearts, some clarity to the problems that they are facing. Let us send love to all of our leaders around the world and light into their hearts, that they might come to understand the errors of their ways, and that they may change into wanting to help the people rather than helping themselves in their pocketbooks. And let's just imagine the entire world surrounded in love. Imagine green from the heart chakra surrounding the whole world. And this love just going into the hearts and the souls of everybody on this planet. Some people can handle that love and they evolve, and other people, so filled with darkness, cannot handle that love, and we just see them disappear, fading away into nothingness. And as we continue to do this and change, and we change the doubts and the fears into love and hope, the world becomes much more positive, much lighter. So let's just imagine right now this world as a world of peace. Think of the word peace, and just see the world with the word peace over it. Know that we have the ability to have peace in this world. And all we have to do is keep sharing this with others. For there are many, many, many good souls upon this planet who want goodness to happen. And only a small handful that are trying to throw darkness and doubts and fears into the mix. So we eliminate them from the mix with our light and love, throw them out of the equation, and we only leave the goodness. And in that goodness, we are happy. So imagine the world as a happy, healthy, peaceful place filled with millions and millions and millions and millions and billions of loving souls. And believe in your heart that we can make this world into a place of love as we imagine. So hold that love and that idea in your mind's eye. Let your subconscious mind continue on its journey of sending out love and light into the world today. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the show. I appreciate that you take the time to share the show with others. Thank you very much for doing that, and for your comments and for your emails and all the ways in which we interact. I really appreciate it very much. We're all in this together. And when we all get on the same page and we put this out, man, we can change this world. And it doesn't matter about what all the evildoers want to do. God trumps all. And that is what we're about. Let's go out into the world and let's share God with the world. Let's share love with the world, my friends, and let's live the lives, the peaceful, loving lives we want to lead. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Have an awesome day. I will talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.